Welcome everyone. In this video, we are going to learn how to add and subtract integers. And in the next video, we'll learn how to multiply and divide integers. So I want you to know that adding and subtracting integers is very easy, not complicated, because with negative number in the mix, there are limited possibilities. Well, you just need to learn some simple rules and strategies that will make the process a lot easier. So, to learn how to add and subtract negative and positive integers, you need to observe some signs. If the signs are the same, then add the two numbers and keep the sign of the two numbers. If the signs are different, then subtract the two numbers and keep the sign of the larger number. Let's do some examples. In the first example, we have the most easier example. We have two numbers with the same sign. So we add to two numbers and we keep the sign positive. And we got plus 13. If you have a problem like the second example, where we're adding a negative number, you can just change it to subtraction. Instead of minus 3 plus minus 7, we can just write minus 3 minus 7. So we add to two numbers and keep the negative sign, and we got minus 10. In the next example, we have the same problem as the previous example, where we're adding a negative number, so we can just change it to subtraction, and we got directly plus 12 minus 2. And as you can see, we have two numbers with different signs, so we subtract the two numbers and keep the sign of the larger number. 12 is larger than 2, so we find plus 10. We have in the next example two numbers with different signs, so we subtract to two numbers and we keep the sign of the larger number. As you can see, 6 is larger than 4, so we keep the negative sign and we got minus 2. In the next example, we're subtracting a positive number, so we can just change it to subtraction, or just write plus 2 minus 3, and we get minus 1. And in the next example, we see a new problem, but don't worry, because subtracting a negative number is the same as adding a positive number. We can change the minus 5 into plus 5, and we got minus 4 plus 5. And finally, we find plus 1. In the next example, where we are subtracting a negative number, you can just change it to addition. Instead of minus 5 minus minus 1, you can just write minus 5 plus 1. And that's problem you already know how to solve. And we find plus 6. In the last example, we have minus 8 minus minus 3. You can just write minus 8 plus 3, and we got minus 5. Now, I want to show you by another way why there are really only four different types of problems we're dealing with when adding or subtracting integers. The first type, you start with a positive number and you make it more positive. The second type, you start with a positive number and you make it more negative. The third type, you start with a negative number and you make it more negative. The fourth type, you start with a negative number and you make it more positive. The key to getting the right answer to the problem is to figure out which of these types you are dealing with. Let's do some examples. We have the problem 2 plus 3. We're starting with a positive 2 and we're making it more positive by adding positive 3 to it to get the answer of positive 5. For the second example, we have the problem minus 2 minus 3. We're starting with a negative 2 and we're making it more negative by subtracting negative 3 to it to get the answer of negative 5. And because of that, you know that your answer will always be negative since we stay on the negative side of the number line. So if you can see, it's just the opposite of the first type. For the third example, we have the problem plus 2 minus 3. We're starting with a positive 2, but we make it more negative by subtracting 3 from it. So when we subtracting 3, we move it to the left on the number line down to negative 1 as our answer. As you can see, this type is a little more complicated because the answer can be positive, negative, or 0 depending the number you're subtracting. In the last problem, we start with negative 2, but then we add positive 3 which makes it more positive or moves us to the right on the number line up to plus 1, which is our answer. This looks similar to tip of the previous problem. So the answer here can be positive, negative, or even 0, depending on the numbers you're adding. At the end, the most important thing that you can do to get good at integer arithmetic is to practice. It's important too that you try a lot of problems that you have an answer K for, so that you know if you're doing it right. And you might want to rewatch this video a few times since there is so much that it covers. As always, thanks for watching my video. Hopefully you liked this video and I'll see you next time. Thank you.